So the Latinos have boom boxes. The gingers have this.
Holy shit.
Hey, if I'm forced to listen to some reggaeton, all right, we can mix it up. We could change it up here a bit. But, of course, don't tell that to Mr. Ben Shapiro, who's going to have his panties in a bunch, especially when it comes to, of course, promoting anything outside of his neoconservative Israeli first orthodoxies that are being questioned now more than ever, especially since it looks like he has just turned heel and has very aggressively criticized and attacked Donald Trump. What's really going on here? What are the criticisms? As it looks like Ben Shapiro is also very big mad that Donald Trump didn't bomb Iran for him and his people. What's really going on here? We're going to do our best to try to answer that in a most honest, earnest way. And if you appreciate that, subscribe, click the notification button. This, of course, is a hot button issue. Lots of people usually take it to the extremes. We're not going to do that. We're going to try to have an honest, real conversation, which sadly is defunct from social media. That clearly is missing it in grand proportions, to say the least here. Now, Ben Shapiro is a very controversial individual. His kind of turning against Donald Trump is very fascinating, very interesting, since Ben Shapiro was a big supporter of Donald Trump in the last presidential election, even though the Daily Wire's favorite candidate, Ron DeSantis, didn't get in. It looks like they definitely kind of fell in line and were there for Donald Trump, promoting him almost every step of the way. It looks like Fox News also was really hoping that Ron DeSantis would have gone in to that position of power. It didn't work, and now it looks like Benny Boy feels betrayed. Feels like he got a not fair deal here. Feels like he was just ripped off by Donald Trump. As, of course, he just launched a pretty interesting attack against Donald Trump that we're going to be looking at in this particular video, because he told Bibi Netanyahu not to bomb Iran. Yes, this is, out of all the things that you could be mad at, and there's a lot of horrible, like really awful, messed up things happening in this world, in this life that we could deal with. But when it comes to being mad that you didn't start more wars, that is just absolutely crazy and ridiculous. We also have some wild testimony from the former head of Mossad that on CBS News was just admitting, the United States was just going to do everything for us, and we're going to sit back. And that type of foreign policy is not an America first foreign policy. It's a foreign policy of us being dictated, controlled, and manipulated, which is something, of course, that Ben Shapiro really isn't happy about, that we're not following along in the footsteps of being told what to do. And to me, I think Donald Trump's efforts, even though they're not as fruitful as a lot of people hoped, as he kind of told us they would be, even though they're not there, this is a completely different American foreign policy orthodoxy, and the firing of his National Security Council, the kind of reassignment of them, the reassignment of Mike Waltz, signals this big push against one of the most powerful lobbies in our current modern political system, a lobby that Ben Shapiro wants to make sure gets their way.
So a kind of shocking story from Axios yesterday emerged that suggested that President Trump had cautioned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in a phone call last week not to take any action that could jeopardize negotiations between the United States and Iran on a new nuclear deal.
Shocking! It's shocking! Huh? What? He told them not to do anything to sabotage the peace talks. As, of course, there's this administration coming out and saying, yeah, Israel was sabotaging the talks and negotiations that we were doing in the Middle East by deciding to aggressively bomb Gaza during Trump's speech in Saudi Arabia. That was a message. And even according to many Middle Eastern leaders that came out afterwards and said, yeah, this kind of bombing, specifically of the hospital region in Gaza, made sure that a lot of the deals that we were working on, the president of Qatar came out and said, we were going to release all the hostages, but then the bombings prevented that from happening. So, yeah, if you're Donald Trump and you're in negotiations with Iran trying to work out a better deal, which, by the way, overwhelmingly benefits Israel anyway. If you're doing that, you're like, hey, let us handle this. You know, we got you. Clearly, the negotiation is going to be in favor of Israel, right? Let's just be real with ourselves. There's no other reason for us to get kind of involved here. There's no reason for us to say, yeah, Iran, no nuclear weapons. There's no reason for us to do that. There's no benefit. It is an extreme benefit to Israel, so Israel hasn't been playing ball with Donald Trump. So Donald Trump's knowingly, hey, guys, you sabotage the hostage deal, all right? We want a ceasefire. You're sabotaging that. Stop it. Ben Shapiro, shocking! Ah, shocking! Oh, no, Donald Trump has scruples. Donald Trump has a backbone. He's standing up for himself. No! He's not doing what he's told. No! Oh, the horror.
Okay, so first of all, I have a question. Israel is not involved in those negotiations. So why should Israel hold off?
Because they're on the behalf of Israel. Let's just be real with ourselves. Okay? Why shouldn't Israel play ball and listen to the United States? Why should it be that Israel should only dictate U.S. politics? That's really what you're asking here, Ben. All right? That's really what you're asking here. Let's just be honest. Let's just be more blunt. Let's just be more real with ourselves, because there's a lot of, like, this kind of intellectual nonsense and this, like, grandiose show that you pull off here. But let's be real with ourselves here, okay? You want the Israelis involved. You want them knowing everything. You want them calling the shots here. Donald Trump is saying, I call the shots. I'm the president of the United States. I'm financing your defense. I'm giving you money so you could have welfare policies. I'm supporting all the military efforts you guys are doing. Play ball with us. Let us negotiate. You guys sabotaged our deals. We were going to free the hostages for you. Nope.
Real question. Israel is the country most under threat from Iran, not the...
That's why the negotiations are happening. The negotiations wouldn't have been happening. It's so frustrating. Anyway, before getting into the rest of this clip, because again, there's a lot to go over here, we wanted to tell you about wearechange.shop. We got a lot of great supplements in our shop, a lot of really great products available to you. One of my favorite ones is the fish oil. I made sure to bring some out. I got my supplements right here. And I like my fish oil sourced from small fish. Usually, you got to be careful. A lot of the big brands just don't really have that great quality control. We made sure we have some great quality control. We made sure we get fish oils from small fish. I like fish oils. They're, according to some medical professionals, good for your heart, good for your brain. And overall, some of the studies that have been coming out, specifically when it comes to people who are smokers and supplementation with fish oils, they're very surprising. Do your own research. Don't use it as a crutch to say, I can smoke now. No. Try to quit. Try to be healthy. Try to get some good sleep. Try to get rid of stress from your life. Try to live a nice, good, holistic, natural lifestyle where you work out, eat right, take care of yourself. Supplementation helps. I don't like eating fish. Sometimes I do eat fish, but I try to not eat fish because of all of the lead and heavy mercury and all of the like horrible byproducts, microplastics, parasites that are in big fish that are just absolutely awful and horrible for you. If I ever eat fish, if I'm not out and about running around, it's usually small sardines. It's small sardines and other small fish that procure this fish oil, which of course don't have a lot of those toxins that mainly a lot of fish do in our modern Western corrupted diet. Now let's continue on with Benny Boy here. We still got a lot to get into. We still got this former Mossad guy coming out and just pretty much saying the quiet part out loud. Listen, Ben, you know what? I'm just going to play this clip because this is the clip here from CBS News that tells you why Benny Boy, Benny Boy, this is why, okay, Trump is not bombing Iran for you. And I'm sorry, but that's a bad policy. It's a horrible policy. We'll tell you why in a little bit. But here's CBS News reporting on this.
So, Leslie, there has been a lot of speculation about whether Israel would go it alone, would attack Iran all on its own. What does Mayor Dagan say about that?
Well, he thinks it's a mistake generally to make it an Israeli-Iranian issue. It should be an international issue.
Yeah, why? Because, again, the Shiite population is vast. Why kick up that storm? Why start up new wars? Why try to create more tensions here?
Somehow the Saudis should be encouraged to speak up and pressure the United States. And what he really would like to happen is Israel sits back and the Americans do it for the Israelis. It would then be internationalized. He knows that Israel will be attacked, whoever does it, but they'll be attacked less. And what he's most worried about is the retaliation.
Yep, and that was the plan. That was the plan that we told you about from the very beginning. As soon as Donald Trump came into political office, they're like, yeah, they're pushing for this war with Iran very hard, and they're saying America, and this is the kind of brilliance of Trump, because like all these other presidents were cracking and bowing down and bending the knee and saying yes, whatever you want. Biden was so weak. Biden was like, okay, stop bombing Gaza. We're gonna stop aid to Israel. We're not gonna give you military supplies. And then Israel was like, yeah. They started bombing Gaza more. And then Biden's like, okay, here you guys go. Here's the military aid. That's Joe Biden presidency. Donald Trump's like, wait, hold on. You want me to bomb a country, create turmoil, bring us on the precipice of World War III, especially now with Russia being involved with Iran and China being involved with Iran so extensively. You want us to kick up this kind of global beehive, create a clash of civilizations between the Sunnis and Shiites. You want us to lead us on the precipice of almost an apocalyptic, crazy World War-like scenario, and then you want us to defend you afterwards after you have us start it for you, for your own personal benefit? What do we get out of it? And Donald Trump's like, yeah, what do we get out of it? Absolutely nothing. And this is why, Benny boy, this is why Israel has been told, don't do this, because we won't have your back. This is what Donald Trump is saying. Don't start a war. Donald Trump wants to be a peace president, okay? If there's a big war started under his presidency, he's not a peace president.
The United States. Okay, so if we were going to take the full-scale J.D. Vance isolationist realist position, shouldn't the United States just sort of wash its hands and walk away and say whatever happens, happens? But I noticed that's...
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a bad deal, actually. Oh, the horrible J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance and his isolationist. Listen, J.D. Vance is the only kind of like reasonable voice there, especially in that Signal group chat where he's like, look, I don't understand what bombing Houthis is going to do for us. Like, we're not helping America. And this is Ben Shapiro's lie. I remember watching one of his shows. He's like, America has to fight for trade routes. It's an American trade route. America has to have our cargo ships in that trade route. That trade route predominantly benefits China. Okay? Let's just be real. China and Europe. It connects China and Europe together. Why are we helping China expand their trade routes? Care to explain? Okay? Don't say it's for American trade routes. It's not for American trade routes. That was another misnomer, another manipulation by Ben Shapiro here, who clearly really is upset about this president.
It's not what's happening. Instead, these so-called restrainers inside the administration, they're not attempting to restrain the United States, which is already restrained. I promise you, my 100% certitude is that President Trump is not going to authorize a bombing raid on the Iranian nuclear facilities.
Good. Great. Woo! Yeah, no war. That's what we voted for. That's what he promised. That's what he's delivering on. That's a good thing.
Whether or not we should, I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, that's just the reality. So why is the restrainer team inside the Trump administration trying to stop Israel from doing that thing?
Because if they do something, they sabotage the current talks and negotiations that Donald Trump has with Iran right now that they're working on, that are very complex, that are very kind of intertwined. And, of course, you just going in there, and as two people are negotiating, deciding to try to punch one, stops the negotiation from going through. Okay? All right? And Donald Trump's working on a deal that clearly is going to be in the benefit of Israel. Clearly. Let's just be real. Let's just be real with ourselves. And you're pissed off that he doesn't allow Israel to walk into the room during these negotiations and to slap up the Iranians during the middle of these negotiations. You're pissed off about that. That's ridiculous, okay? That's a clown type of perspective.
Why? With what bad deal? Iran keeps saying openly they will not stop enrichment. And yet, the United States is so desperate for a deal, what, for the sake of a deal? The Iranians know this, which is why they're pushing. And so when Trump warns Netanyahu not to go and do anything about Iran, just trust us. Okay, listen, I will trust that President Trump will cut a good deal if he continues to maintain the Trump 1.0 stance, which is no nuclear enrichment at all, no nuclear facilities.
I think Trump's at this point, like, saying, who cares? I think we're reaching a point where, okay, Trump's in these negotiations trying to get this done, but he's like, these guys aren't a willing participant. these guys just sabotaged my hostage deal, okay? These guys just aren't playing ball. They're being very aggressive. And the reports from these phone calls is that this was a very kind of tense, aggressive phone call between Bibi and Trump. And it's like, these guys are being rude. These guys are bossing me around. These guys are trying to manipulate me. And this is according to White House officials that came out anonymously and said, yeah, Steve Witkoff was back-channeling with Bibi, pushing, forcing, trying to get Donald Trump to bomb Iran to the point where Donald Trump fired him because of that. Now there's a whole big Qatari plane scandal. That also was ridiculous, and we told you why on this channel as well. Watch those videos to get the full perspective and grasp and understanding of it.
At all. That was something that 3 weeks ago the Trump administration was saying. President Trump himself, again, I'm with Trump 1.0 on this, not Steve Witkoff and J.D. Vance 2.0. Donald Trump 1.0 killed Qasem Soleimani, destroyed the Iranian economy, and held them in check. Then Joe Biden came in, reversed a bunch of that stuff, and you got October 7th and a vast regional war. Why wouldn't we just go back to Trump 1.0? That is the foreign policy that actually shaped the Abraham Accords. Why is that not the thing? Instead of calling the prime minister of Israel and telling him he needs to restrain himself on Iran.
Yeah, Why? Why not be the person you were before when you were totally acting on our behalf and doing everything we told you to do? Now it looks like the gloves are off for Donald Trump. Donald Trump's like, this is my last term. I don't need to win a re-election. A lot of people are saying that Donald Trump used the Israelis in order to win re-election here. And listen, it sure looks like that. But it definitely does look like the mask is slipping, because what Trump is doing is different. It's definitely ruffling a lot of feathers. You look at all the news reports, and we were reporting on this when the shift started to originally happen here. But this is a big monumental geopolitical shift here. And the more that these two are at odds with each other, the more that we are seeing a breakdown of these kind of communications and these kind of deals. I foresee this escalating. Let's just be real with ourselves here. And then I expect Ben Shapiro to lose his mind even more. Ben Shapiro also is mad and taking shots at Theo Von, because Theo Von gets a lot of views, gets way more views than Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro gets way more views than us. Let's just be real with ourselves. There's a reason we're talking about him. He is a political juggernaut. He's a big political force. A lot of people listen to him, and he does have a lot of impact. But I think on this one particular issue, he is absolutely wrong. I think it's very telling that organizations like Media Matter are talking about how Ben Shapiro is really mad and how they're kind of joyous about this. And Ben Shapiro talks about the skeeziness about Trump being in crypto. I think it's great that Trump's involved in crypto. He's doing it in an honest, transparent way, just like he did with the Qatari jet. Whether you like it or not, it's not being done under the table. It's not being done with backroom deals. He's doing something that a lot of people would never have the audacity to do, but he's doing it in your face, which is a lot more respectable than a lot of what happened previously beforehand, where people kind of come to you and they're like, we'll give you $100 million. You better do this for us. And he's like, okay, I will. And there's instances where you could even accuse Donald Trump of that, but guess what? There's no outpouring of the clutching of the poor earls. There's no freak out moments by the corporate media when the Andelsons come to Trump and they give him money, right? But the Qataris did it. Qataris gave him a jet that they, by the way, couldn't sell to anybody. They didn't know what to do with. They're like, hey, no one's buying this from us. Here, dear Trump, take it. Ben Shapiro, he's taking money from the Qataris. Okay, but he did it in an honest way. All right? There's a lot of dishonesty in American politics. And then again, Ben Shapiro also saying that Russia attacking Kiev is all Donald Trump's problem. And he says it's because of the Trump administration, why Putin is pushing. Again, for the first time in a long time, we finally have a president that says, listen, guys, we're not going to use this old kind of insane doctrine of blowing up the world and then rebuilding it. Like, we're in debt. We have no money. We risk our national security. We have destroyed our Bill of Rights. We have destroyed our Constitution. What are we doing here? Like, what do we have to show for all these Middle Eastern interventions other than just strife, death, and misery, suffering, and all of our money wasted away while doing some of the most awful, heinous acts on the face of this earth? Why are we involved in all of these stuff that bite us in the butt? Why are we financing and radicalizing and creating these type of scenarios and situations where truly there's no benefit to it for us at all? And it clearly is highlighting our government being hijacked. Now the tentacles are being slowly cut off. They're not fully cut off. But I believe that there's going to be a big decoupling. This is my prediction here from my 21 plus years of geopolitical studies and understanding of this, that Israel and the United States would probably decouple sometime next year. That's my assessment with the way things are going. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Let me know down in the comment section below. Get some fish oils on wearechange.shop. We can't thank you guys enough for watching, subscribing, clicking the notification button, and staying tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.